Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell gave an interview to Bloomberg. He's promoting his new book, which I don't recommend, but it's called The Long Game. And he made some statements about Donald Trump. Now, Mitch McConnell is the leader of Republicans in the Senate, very powerful figure. And, you know, he has to live with their nominee. And he's made some statements about Donald Trump, essentially saying, you know, they're trying to figure out who to get as a vice president. He's saying, better be somebody good because Donald Trump doesn't know a lot, but he'd be doing a lot better if he would just stick to the script. So let's just take a listen to some of these quotes from the interview Mitch McConnell gave. This is about who they should pick for VP. He says, he needs someone highly experienced and very knowledgeable because it's pretty obvious he doesn't know a lot about the issues. There's quite an endorsement.
Yeah, there we go.
This is the man that they're going to line up behind to be their leader of their party and the leader of the free world.
None of them like him, but they know that they can push their own, you know, conservative agenda through as long as he's president. Or at least they hope, because Trump is a wild card and anything can frickin' happen. He could change his mind in an instant, so it could either blow up in their faces or he could really, you know, do what he says he will. Things like, I'm going to, you know, I'm going to make sure the next judge that we have, the Supreme Court judge, is going to be pro-life, for example. He says things, but who knows?
McConnell's all about the long game, as his book states here. It's kind of, I would say, it's kind of the story of the tortoise and the hare. Now, who would the tortoise would be? We have the tortoise.
He does look like a tortoise, I'm not going to lie.
And then there's the hare. Come on. Okay, there we go. So it's a tortoise and a hare story, the long game. Now, Mitch McConnell seems as though he seems kind of bumbling with his tortoise look. He looks like he's not going to get anywhere, but he just stays. If he stays there long enough, he's going to get where he's got to go. And he's like, hey, if I got to deal with it, you know, like a crazy, insane, like Donald Trump president, I can deal with that. It's the long game. I'll be here when he's gone. No worries. But he says there are some problems around a Trump candidacy. This is what he has to say. I'm going to support him despite the fact that he's totally off his blocks. He says, for all of his obvious shortcomings, Donald Trump is certainly a different direction. And I think if he's in the White House, he'll have to respond to the right of center world which elected him and the things that we believe in. So I'm comfortable supporting him. So, yes, I can't even support the things that he says and does, but I have to support him because he's going to change his mind about everything and start supporting.
I obviously care more about, this is what he's saying, I obviously care more about denying climate change, defunding, you know, women's health clinics, things like that, so I can get my conservative Christian American message through. I care more about that than I do, you know, a third world war ensuing and the whole world going to shit because Donald Trump's president.
Yeah, and he's also saying, we all collectively have deluded ourselves into thinking that once Donald Trump becomes president, he's going to change his mind about everything and start supporting our ideas over here. So let's just get him in there. I'm sure he'll come around to our way, the people who voted. It'll be fine. But he goes on to say this. He needs to learn to stick to the script. And we saw Donald Trump finally giving a speech off of a script, and it was like, uh-oh, this is actually dangerous because they're giving him words that make sense. And now that could be dangerous. So let's hear what Mitch McConnell says about this. I object to the whole series of things that he said, vehemently object to them. I think all of that needs to stop. Both the shots at people he defeated in the primary and these attacks on various ethnic groups in the country. I think he'd have a much better chance of winning if he would quit making so many unfortunate public utterances and stick to the script. Yep, and that's what scares me, is that he's going to start sticking to the script, and people will be like, oh, you know, it actually makes sense what he's saying now. Oh, I can get behind that. Instead of what he's saying, is the unfortunate public utterances, which is the actual Donald Trump.
Especially on Twitter.
Everything that comes out of his mouth is unfortunate.
I don't think, you know, he keeps saying he's going to become more presidential. He says he's going to be more presidential, but he can do it when he's reading from a teleprompter. But he's bound to say some stupid shit in a week or 2 weeks after that. Like, I don't see him not being himself. That's all he can do.
I've not seen him promise to become more presidential. I've seen him say, look, I got to be who I'm going to be. I'm not going to change. This is who I am. Believe him. Believe him. He's not going to change. He is who he is. And sticking to a script is actually a frightening idea because they might actually give him some things to say that make sense.